Thanks so much for joining us. This is our MeWe Awakening panel on business intuition and career path intuition. We at MeWe Fairs have lots of events in person and online. We're back to in person again, and we've had lots and lots of online events. Our main online event is our panel. We have 6 practitioners on the panel tonight, and we'll be answering questions from you, the audience. It's free to be here to listen and learn, and a small prize to ask a question of the panel. I'll put the information in the chat again about how this works. We're all going to go through and introduce ourselves. You'll get to hear about who we are and well, just how we work, what our modalities are, and how we approach business. And practitioners, feel free to just talk about all your modalities, just everything that you do, as well as the focus for tonight. Practitioners have specials. I have some of those already. I'll be putting them in the chat, so you'll have a chance to see what those are. It's an opportunity to work with practitioners at lower prices, smaller packages, do trainings with them. Some of us have products, all kinds of different things. Yeah, I think that's it. And we can take a question on anything. Often the questions come in on the theme, and we really can address just about anything. I'm excited to be with you, and I will put the practitioners on spotlight. Maybe let me get that started first. And right, get us all up here. Great, and then we'll have Marya do the introductions first. All right, go ahead, Marya.
Hello, everyone. I'm Marya OMalley, and I'm a spiritual intuitive and psychic medium. I do readings, and I also mentor people in the intuitive arts. And these would be people anywhere from informed beginners to advanced intermediates. I tailor my mentoring to your particular area of interest and needs. And I so enjoy helping people to develop their spiritual gifts, whether they want to develop psychic ability, intuitive, healing, and mediumship type of gifts. I also help people to discover their gifts, because sometimes they feel that they have gifts, but they'd like to know more. They're curious about that. And so I do this with one-on-one mentoring. I can be found at maryaomalley.com, and it's MaryaOMalley.com. And I'm so happy to be here tonight with you as I join these other wonderful panelists to answer questions about your business and career path. And one thing I want to let you know, sometimes people have a little difficulty formulating questions. So you might want to think about questions along the line of what energy do you see around option A? What energy do you see around option B? What obstacles do I need to overcome? What types of people can I connect with to help develop my career or my business? And that kind of thing, rather than yes or no. That's just some thoughts for you. So thank you for joining us. And I'm excited to hear what questions you have for us.
Thanks so much, Marya. Lisa, and then Claire.
Thank you, Laureli. Hey, everyone. I am Lisa Stewart. I am an intuitive business coach with Sigil Magic Goddess. I call myself a creative mixed medium, but I help mystics like you find the courage to co-create your business vision with your intuition to grow your confidence and your income. I've built several hundred products over the years and sold them around the world, and I did this co-creating with spirit. You can say, I know how to manifest like a goddess. I use this experience to teach you how to work with the moon phases and tarot to effectively grow your business. And of course, part of being a business coach is also helping you with your brand messaging, design, marketing, and websites. And can I just say, when you get your brand messaging down, it makes selling so much easier. No joke. There are a variety of ways that we can work together. I'm currently running 2 workshops that can help you build your business. The first one is how to start a business when you don't know where to start, and then brand your magic message. That will help you talk about how to change lives with your gifts. Plus, I also have tarot and oracle readings for your business. So feel free to check out my website on Sigil Magic Goddess to learn more. Also, as a seer, I have the ability to see the bigger picture for your business and guide you on the right path for rapid growth. For instance, when I met a woman many years ago who created lotions, I saw that she was going to launch a big spa in New York City. She did. She launched 2 spas. And for others, I've seen books in their future to help them launch their careers. It's different for everyone. Lastly, on a related note, I can call my spirit kitties back from the cosmos. I have a spirit kitty, Chardonnay, who is my spirit animal and often visits me in the mundane world, walking all over me on bed, or like this morning, jumping on my head on my pillow. So that's a little bit about my personal life with my spirit kitties. But again, I'm Lisa Stewart, and I'm so glad that I can be here to answer your questions. Have a great evening, and thank you, Laureli.
You're welcome, Lisa. We've got Claire, Stephanie, and Vanessa.
Hello, hello. So my name is Claire Jones. I am owner of Liminal Clarity, and I am the change guide for growth. So I support and provide stability for women, entrepreneurs, visionaries, go-getters, high achievers, the impact makers out there who are trying to do a lot, achieve a lot, and tend to burn out in the process, because I've totally been there myself. I jokingly call myself the transition queen. I've been through almost pretty much any transition that you can think of, and I not only survive, but I thrive throughout it, thanks to my multidisciplinary approach that combines empowered rituals, neuroscience, elevated wellness practices, and trauma-informed therapy practices. I call my special brand Analytical Woo. It is a mix between the logical and the emotional, so that you can create a mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical support system that provides you with safety and support during these times of change, stress, and transformation. I've been an entrepreneur since 2014 when I opened up my first business, and then I shifted more into business consulting and advisory roles before realizing that my target audience was really women entrepreneurs out there, because we need support, we need the community, we need extra strategy, we need extra camaraderie out there. And I am happy to help you achieve everything your heart desires. And any way I can help you, I am happy to. So I am here to be your experienced Sherpa, and let me know how I can best help.
Thanks so much, Claire. Stephanie?
Hello, everybody. My name is Stephanie Bucklin. I am so many wonderful things that I want to offer you. I have so much. I am a social entrepreneur. I want to save the world. My personal motto is fighting for love and healing the world one human at a time. And that is something that just guides me in everything that I do. So for individuals, I'm an intuitive, I'm a coach, and I just help you find that alignment to your own self-healing abilities. So I call myself a self-healing specialist, which is, in my mind, it's like figuring out all the tools and techniques that help you achieve the highest level of health that you can get to, and keeping that going in a system that works for you. I also help people find their more sustainable lifestyle practices that can affect not just you, but the people around you, your environment, your animals, your entire world. And so everything is holistic in my practice. I'm also a connector for business owners and practitioners. So in that realm of my business, I create connecting to healing interviews on YouTube. I have networking mixers that I host both locally in Phoenix and online, and I'm hosting conscious wellness events. I'm very excited to be partnering with Laureli on an upcoming event called the Summer Integrative Wellness Expo and Conference, which is a virtual summit. That's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to helping you figure out your path tonight. Feel free to ask any questions. Let us know how we can help you. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Stephanie. Go ahead, Vanessa.
Hey y'all, I'm Vanessa Perry. I am a mental health therapist turned intuitive counselor. That's kind of a fancy way of saying that I couldn't fit in the box, the Freud box, and I needed to be outside of it, mostly because of my connection with spirit and the kind of clear knowing type deal that was happening. And it's not really something that people can get their minds around in a corporate setting, right? Like, I just felt like that was what we were supposed to talk about today. Doesn't really fly. So I really enjoy my work. I have come into it with that same thing. Like, I feel like there's a theme through here. We just want to like save people. We just want to help people. I'm so happy to be here. This is the first time that I've been on a public intuitive panel, and I'm just like overjoyed with the amount of talent that's here, all of the different things that you can get from each person that's here. It's like overwhelming. So I'm happy that I'm here. I'm happy that everybody else is here. I think that this is a special space that's been created, and I'm thankful for Laureli, giving me the opportunity to join. When it comes to the work that I do, that transition from being that mental health therapist, difficult. I don't want to leave it behind. And that's where I brought the counseling with me. I don't want to just use my intuitive gift and leave you with it, right? Sometimes, I mean, I know for myself, this has happened. I've gone for a reading and been like, well, what do I do with this information that you've given me? Like, you've dropped a bomb on me here, and now I don't know what to do when it detonates. So that's kind of what I love about what I do, is that comes in, that we can then process it. I can take my psychology filter and filter it through that, and we can work through the roadblocks and how things got there, our childhoods and things like that. And, I will say this, you're not really supposed to say what your favorite thing is, right? They teach you that when you're a therapist. You're not supposed to say who your favorite clients are, but since I'm free from that, I can do that. I really love working with people who are ready to shake things up, who have just gotten to that place where their soul is trying to burst out, your midlife crisis or quarter life crisis or whatever you want to call that. That is your soul saying, I have had enough and I need to be heard, and you can't ignore me anymore. I love when people come to me with that, because there's the opening, spirit wants to come in and blow it open with you. So I love what I do. I'm happy to be here. I'm very excited to see who we can help today. So yeah, I'm ready to dig in.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. All right, questions are flying in all over the place, so I am tracking all those too. In addition to running the event, I'm also on the panel. My name is Laureli Shimayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader. I read your eyes, read your soul, and answer questions about your soul path, your purpose. We apply that to your career path. One of the main traits I read in people's eyes are 7 talents. I have a book on the 7 talents and how they apply in leadership and life. Examples in business. Usually leaders of a business, if there's a group of people leading, they have different perspectives, which is really helpful. And sometimes it's challenging because they have different perspectives. These archetypes that I read in people are a way to understand ourselves better, why we approach things the way we do, what we value, and also our colleagues. What do they value? What would we want to go to them for? And how do we have strategies for talking with them about where we have differences? And how do we kind of balance the different perspectives and see what's most needed in a situation? When you're an entrepreneur, who are you and what do you do best and what do you not do best? What is it best to hire people to do or partner with others to do? Right? All kinds of ways, all kinds of strategies for supporting you to feel alive and energized and to give your best and to make the biggest impact. Oh gosh, just so much to say. I also do body psychology. When I look at someone, I don't only see their eyes, I also see so many of the messages that come through your body, all kinds of subtle things, posture, gesture, just simply where you have an itch. All this stuff is meaningful. It's just all information, right? To help you be you. And then also you can utilize these tools, not so your eyes so much, you can see in other people's eyes, but really your body. There's so many tools in your body and how to shift and move when you feel scared, when you feel stuck. Just so many resources for how to shift from fear and to be grounded and make choices using your body, like a whole body muscle test. So many different tools like that we'll probably talk about tonight. I'm a matchmaker. I love to have people find work that they love, organizations that they love to work for, organizations find people, people find romantic partners, just all kinds of things. I've worked with a number of romantic partners that are also business partners. I've done leadership coaching for a number of years. I used to be a scientist. I worked in the legal field, just all kinds of background in entrepreneurship, startups. Just so many different things that I've touched along the way and been running my own business since 2009. And I have so many facets of my business. I'm not the one that's going to teach the lesson about focusing. That is not my thing. I know others on the panel will have great insight about that. I'm excited to be here with you and to apply my gifts to all these different kinds of questions. Yeah, and as you've heard, I've changed career path a number of times and made all sorts of transitions myself as well. Lots of ways to do it in ways that are friendly and support us along the path. You can find out more about me at LaureliShimayo.com. That's LaureliShimayo.com. And there's information about me in the chat as well. All right. Well, we are going to be answering your questions. Well, let's see. So practitioners, sometimes hearing each other, we think of more things that we want to share about who we are and what we do. Does anyone have anything else you want to jump in and share before we start on questions? Just in case. All right, great. Everyone wants to jump in on these questions. We're all very practical and applied. That's why we're on this panel. We're like, come on, let's go. All right. So before we start answering questions, this is recorded and it will be posted online. So keep that in mind as we answer. And if you want to give us guidance as to how you want us to focus our answers from the beginning, please feel free to do that. Or if you ask and we go deeper than you want us to go in this format, or we talk about topics you don't want us talking about here, please interrupt us and give us guidance, and we will aim to honor you. That is our purpose in being here today. You know, giving you support and feedback and empowerment in a way that honors you. Also, we request that you allow the attention to stay up on the panel today. Given that, it's a great opportunity to practice opening to your intuition along the way. I recommend that you have something to write with, something to write on. You could do it on your phone or other device, but it's often better to write anything that arises for you, anything at all that gets your attention. Aim to write it down, and you'll have an opportunity to see if what comes through you correlates in some way with what we share. Of course, you might have something come through you that is fully valid for that question, and we happen to not mention it. We request that you keep that information to yourself until we're done answering someone's question. And then if you want, you're welcome to chat them privately and ask if they'd like to hear what came through you, possibly for them. Please honor whatever they share. It's possible that they will be full and not want any more right now. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Where is this getting posted online? We have a YouTube channel where it's getting posted, and let me put the link in the chat right now so you have it. It's right. Let's see. It's right here. And we've got several people in line with questions already. I have, and let's see. So I believe we have Susie, Lena, Jose, and then maybe Kirsten, but I'm not certain yet. And there may be someone else too. Let me see if there's anything else from the chat that I've missed so far. Okay, great. All right. Well, I think let's get started with, is there anything else I need to share beforehand? Maybe not. That's it. All right, Susie, let's bring you up to the panel for the first time. You're always on the panel. It's great. Woohoo.
I know, it's really nice just to be able to sit here and go, I'm going to knit. No, I have to ask questions. So I'm cool. I want to thank everybody for being here. My question is, as Laureli has said, that I'm a practitioner that shows up on these panels quite a bit. And I've gone through this cycle of what I'm calling imposter syndrome, but then I go and look and do a little more research. It's like, no, I'm not an imposter. I believe in what I do. What I am seeing is that I have a fear of success, and I would like to get some insight as to possibly what caused it, or how I can get past it. And then once I get past it, where I go from here. Please and thank you.
May I ask a clarifying question?
Mm-hmm.
What does success look like for you?
See, that's a great question. And I'm trying to also figure out what that looks like. I know what it doesn't necessarily look like. Initially, I want to be able to work in such a way to not only help people, but to draw in enough money to where my husband doesn't have to work until he dies.
What part of that brings up fear?
When success hits, that I have to, I don't feel like I'm afraid of not being organized enough. there's going to be a lot of things to do, and I want to make sure I get it all done. So somewhere along the line, I know I'll bring somebody on board. And I have a friend who's like spinning so many plates on it, and I'm like, I'm happy with her doing that, so I don't have to mimic what she does. So I know that's different, and I'm not comparing myself to other folks. I know that I do what I do with my particular flair, and it's fun. That success would be my husband giving us a chance to have income so that we can ultimately not have to worry about things, whether retirement ever shows up or not.
I'm going to let Stephanie go.
Great. Yeah, Stephanie, I would say thank you so much for your vulnerability and your question. Great.
Let me make sure I have a pen that works.
So the first thing that I thought of was actually reflected back to me earlier today in a Zoom meeting. Fear, anytime it comes up, it is an opportunity for us to take a step into inspired action. Because if you take action in the direction of your dreams, it changes the fear into a motivating factor. It's like fuel. And so you can actually use it as fuel instead of something that freezes you. It can be something that empowers you. You use the fear. That it's actually been reflected to me several times over as a business owner. And it just was reflected again today. And I'm like, oh my God, I need to share this with Susie because it just happened.
Okay.
All right, great. All right, we've got Lisa and then Vanessa.
Hey, Susie, how are you?
Yeah.
Okay, all
Oh,
right.
wait, I'm sorry, I was rude. Thank you, Stephanie. I got to think on that. So I'm okay, Lisa. I'm trying to figure my stuff out. So
I get it. It can be a nail biter. When you answered the question, what success looks like to you, and you said, I know what it doesn't look like. Can you share that with us?
I'm not looking to have an empire of any sort, and that's primarily it because, and I really don't want to be put up on anybody's pedestal. So to be able to maintain my authenticity is important. Yeah, because that's pretty much what it looks like to me, is just being who I am and still being able to help people the way I want to and to draw good income.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good. So can I share with you what Spirit just, boom, said to me? And I think this will answer your imposter syndrome. And that is, you've got a book in you.
Geez. Okay, everybody says that, and okay, gonna be working on it this weekend too. So
okay, good. So I drew 2 cards for you, and they're perfect. The first one is air. It's one of the elements, right? And of course, in my layout here, of course, air works with strategy, planning, marketing, and communications. So if you are married to the idea of doing a book, then think about also your tribe and how you want to speak with them. And I know that you already have a podcast, so you've got a lot of information there. You've already got at least a channel to talk about that. And then, of course, when it comes to marketing that book, it's an opportunity to get on other podcasts and then just talk about the book. And that's just one more avenue for you to help with your revenue stream, right? And of course, writing a book isn't going to make you rich, but it's all the other tactics that go along with that. And so I can only imagine, and tell me if this is true for you, the idea of actually getting on a stage, right? Like physically getting on the stage and talking to people. What's your comfort level in that?
Well, in general, it's not uncomfortable for me. I have a degree in theater, so I was on stage. It's the trying to remember what to say thing that has really gotten to me. I don't, there are times about memorizing that I just go, I don't know if I want to. So I'm really great at improvisation and, answering off the cuff.
Okay.
So,
All right. That's fabulous. That's fabulous. So then what I would recommend is maybe considering some of those avenues, right? The book, and then, you've got a growing community already. So you've already got, you're 10 steps ahead of the game at this point. And when it comes to what you're going to talk about on stage, that's easily remedied. If you like improv, you just got a couple of bullet points. After you've got your book made, after you've got it published and printed, you can talk about some of those bullet points, those key points that people need to take away. That's easy enough to render. So, and then of course, it's that whole imagination and that stretch where you close your eyes and imagine yourself on the stage, knowing what the outcome is going to look like and getting familiar with that. And of course, I know you know how to do that.
Yeah.
Does that help?
Oh, yeah. I'm also, if anybody else wants to chime in about a next step right now, I'm working on the book. I got to figure out how that's going to happen, but what can I do in the meantime? But thank you very much, Lisa. That's great.
You bet.
Yeah, you brought up the podcast. Okay.
Thanks, Lisa. We've got Vanessa, Claire, Marya, and then myself. So Vanessa.
Trying to unmute there. I'm like, not on the right thing. Okay, so I have a bunch of notes on my phone because it just kept coming through. So the first thing that I thought of immediately when you said that the sustainability of the success was what is your programming around success? It usually happens when we're young. It's centered around what support or pressure we got as a child, how our successes were celebrated or not celebrated, and digging into those kind of things. We've got to move the block, because you can do all the work, you can write the book, you can, book all of the things, but if the inside thing isn't healed, you're still gonna have that thing that you're pushing up against. So that was one thing that came through.
Yeah, being 5th out of 6th. So it was like not much celebrated. So yeah. Okay, good point, Vanessa. Thank you.
Yeah. So you're not really used to even what it feels like to be celebrated, even what it feels like for that success to have that spotlight on you and only you, for your specific gifts and talent. So it's going to be uncomfortable, right? Anything that we don't know how to do it's uncomfortable for the first couple times. So that was there. I also wanted to ask you about that inauthentic piece. Where did that message come through? At what point did it get taught to you that when you get big, you become inauthentic?
I've had mentors that I've put up on the pedestal who did things that just really made them crash. And I don't want to be that person. I don't want to abuse that power or influence.
Okay. Why do you believe that you would possibly?
I don't know. It's what a great question. I know once, like in 5th grade, I took it too far, but that was only once, and it's kept me pretty much in line ever since.
Mm-hmm.
So I get to let that go, don't I?
Yes. Right?
Okay.
And sometimes that comes with comparison, right? If I'm comparing myself to somebody else and I feel like a deep connection to them, I may feel like I will do the same things that they do, because I've kind of lost myself in that bonding process and forgetting like who I am. I won't do that because that's not who I am. And I'm very conscious of it. So I will obviously make sure I won't do that. But sometimes until we have that conversation with ourselves and or somebody else, it's like, oh, I didn't really know how that got there.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Vanessa. Go ahead, Claire.
So the word that keeps popping up in my mind, that keeps coming to me, is trust.
Okay.
Trusting yourself, trusting your community, trusting your tribe, and trusting your support systems. Because we can't do it alone. And you mentioned before that you have delegating on your radar at some point in time, but I would also challenge you to think about delegating in a non-financial exchange way. People are defined by the close others that they surround themselves with. People become successful because of the free help, the compassion, the support, the advice, like we're doing here right now. That's where success is built, typically. It's all about your community and your tribe. At the end of the day, you are the sum of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. 95% of your success is going to stem from the people that you surround yourself with. So I would challenge you to engage in some trust exercises, whatever that looks like for you.
Yeah.
Trusting yourself, trusting others, trusting the support systems, maybe even just identifying the support systems that you already have around you, I think would be the place to start.
Well, this would be a great big one.
Exactly.
Right here.
2 of my main practices that I actually use for myself is 1, a gratitude list. So every day before I go to bed, I list 3 things that I'm grateful for. And sometimes it's even as silly as the salmon salad that I had for lunch. I'm grateful for it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's as big as the internet. I'm grateful for the internet existing. But then the other practice that I have is a victory list. And so I write down 3 victories that I had for that day. Whether it was finally scheduling my dentist appointment, or scoring a new client, or being invited to a panel. And maybe that will help build up your arsenal of support system people, items, things.
Okay. Yeah, we do gratitudes before dinner. Oh, we call them gratefuls. So some people say grace, we say what we're grateful for in the day. And invariably that ends up with me saying, I love my family very much. So.
Yeah, I try to not repeat the gratitudes in a week time frame. That's how I extend the amount of things that I'm grateful for in my life.
Oh yeah, I look at it from day to day. Today I'm grateful I walked. Today I'm grateful I got my hair cut off, and and on with that. So yeah, I understand where you're coming from, Claire. Thank you. That's good. Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
I'm just going to reflect again, the victory list, adding the victory list. All right, we've got Marya and then another few comments from Lisa. Go ahead, Marya.
Hey, Susie.
Hiya.
It struck me, I think it was when Lisa was talking and asking you a question, and you said you're really good at improv. You have no problem with that. It's just like if you're going to go and give a speech or something, you forget. I can relate to that. And I think you would be such a great interview subject.
Oh.
Because that will bring out your spontaneity. It'll bring out your passion, your liveliness, and bring forth what it is you have to offer, which is so much. Also, have you had a near-death experience?
I don't know. I had a pretty intense cancer experience. So I don't ever feel like I was being told to go back. I just knew that this was an experience I needed to change the end of the story of.
Okay. Was it a profound thing for you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because for some reason, it kept coming up for me intuitively, Did you have a near-death experience? And Jeff Mara podcast. Have you ever seen him on YouTube?
What was his name again?
Jeff Mara, not G, J, Jeff
Huh?
Mara.
Huh?
And he has a YouTube channel, and he has many, many interviews with near-death experiencers, mostly, but not all. Some are, have some, great spiritual experience or whatever. But I kept seeing you being interviewed by him.
Oh,
And I can't tell you how many of those YouTube videos of near-death experiencers I've watched, and I've actually purchased many books as a result. And I've had a couple of different ones, sessions with those people, because I could really tell that I resonated with them. And I could, I just felt they had something to offer me. So I think that would be great for you. You're going to get a lot of attention. He has a lot of people watching. And he's a very good interviewer. And let's see what else. Oh, I think maybe, let me ask you this. Is part of your thing about the pedestal? I understand that too. I don't want to be put on a pedestal because, I fall off pretty far if I
throw myself off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it that you don't want to disappoint people?
That's an excellent point. I have no fears of looking the fool. There was a recent experience when I spoke to somebody and told them what I saw, and they're like, no. And then I went and talked to another practitioner. I said, this is what happened. And, this is how I saw the energy. And they said, yeah, that's right. You didn't see it in their earthly form. You saw it in their spiritual form. So disappointing, I think it's what I fear most is getting cocky and being arrogant, or have that feeling of superiority when spirit will come in and knock me over, make me look a fool.
Yeah, well, then I would suggest to kind of keep you on track so you don't have to keep dealing with that fear, is to, what's the focus here? And it's serving the person, serving spirit. And that's the important thing. The heart-to-heart thing. And you do admit your shortcomings or funny things about, things you did that maybe were a mistake or something. And that's so good to keep yourself off of that pedestal. And also to keep that heart-to-heart connection going and focus on that. It's just like there was a woman who coached many presidents in speaking, and she said, focus on the message. You're here to give a message. Focus on that. Don't focus on yourself. Do I look funny? Is my voice not good or whatever? So focus on that. And I think that will help you too.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Marya. I appreciate that. I love that heart-to-heart connection. That resonates beautifully. Yay.
Great. Lisa's got something else.
I just wanted to follow up quickly and reinforce what Claire said. It's something that I also do. She calls it the victory list. I call it the tiny wins, right? And it's really celebrating the things that you got done that day. Doing your laundry, calling the dentist, talking to somebody on a phone, right? For many of us introverts, that's a real struggle. But then also kind of following up with Mara, what she said, and that is when I start to feel anxious about speaking in public, I remember it's not about me, it's about them. And you do such a beautiful job on the panels anyway. And I think that if you feel like success looks different if you're on a stage versus being here in Zoom with the rest of us, it's just an extension. It's an extension of you.
Yeah.
And if you're really concerned, then maybe it's a matter of having a point person, somebody that you trust, and say, once you get off the stage, how was that? Did I come off too cocky? Right? Just have somebody, just check in with somebody.
Okay. Yeah, I do watch Laureli. and our responses. So, yeah, okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you, Lisa.
So Susie, since that time in, I think you said 5th grade, have you ever shown up as too big, too much, like in a way that really hurts someone?
Okay, that last one, in a way that really hurts someone. I don't think so. I used to pull myself back so as to not look too much. But since then, I've pretty much just said, this is me. Love me or lump me. I don't really care. And that definitely comes through in my answers usually.
Did you have someone in your family growing up that took up too much space or that accused other people of taking up too much space?
There was such a span and age range that I wasn't always exposed to some folks in my family, like my brothers. I pretty much didn't. I know when my mom was sick, she took up a lot of space and nobody let us know. We were excluded from that. My younger sister and I were. And so since then, I pretty much, that's the reason I had to change the
It sounds like
cancer story.
you grew up in an environment where no one was allowed to take up space. There was a subtle shaming of taking up space.
Okay.
Yeah. So we learned. So I noticed on your website you don't have any photos of you.
Oh.
So just maybe I wonder, are you
Holy
willing
moly.
to be seen?
Okay.
Yeah. Are you willing for people to see you?
Golly, thank you for pointing that out. It's never occurred to me, to be honest.
Yeah, it's probably just all part of the same thing of like learning to put yourself out in the world to be seen. I have a few colleagues that I thought of that there's so many ways of doing your work that it don't have to be on a pedestal. So I have a friend who does organizing, and her website is casual and cluttering. I say that because she sets the expectation from the beginning for people that she's casual. And the photo of her on the website is like all, in a garage. And so really, like, I'm one of you is really the message she gives. I have another colleague who teaches doctors to run what she calls ideal clinics. And it's a clinic where they really can be with their patients, not all the formal expectations that people have in the impositions on doctors. So there are lots of ways that people set up practices to let people know from the beginning, I'm not in a pedestal. And there are ways also of when someone's attempting to lift you up to take yourself down. I flub up all the time on these calls, right? So that's a way that I'm going to come back down, like I'm like everybody else. So I was encouraging you to look and see what expectations you have of yourself, of like how you would show up. Like if for someone who's successful, like what are the expectations you have of that kind of person? So what are the expectations you might be holding of you? Like the idea that you'd have to remember something. You can set up your business, you don't have to remember a thing. Right? There's some ways you want to have some sort of system or someone to help remind you of when you have appointments and things like that. But you do that now, right? You've got something.
My assistant didn't help me this afternoon. Which
you show up.
Okay.
Things happen sometimes. You show up for panels, you show up to ask a question this time. Yeah. And then also I would say to look at your offerings. So you have sessions, and I know that you love to teach. So, and I guess one thing too is you could partner with someone to do this. So like I know so many things, it would be great for me to offer my work in a longer course where people could learn so many different things. So what are the things that you love to teach, and how could you organize it in a longer program? You don't have to do it with other people that hold the space. Like they might want to come just to work with you. So you don't have to offer the teaching with someone else, what I'm saying, because I know you do sometimes, you do that with others. But you could plan your own, right? Do some of your writing or have a partner, a buddy that you check in with on your writing.
I do have that. So I haven't totally dropped the ball, and I have considered teaching courses, and I'm trying to accumulate that expertise so that I can set one up.
And you don't have to necessarily acquire that much expertise. I think that you know a lot already. I know you love teaching, and you do.
Well, it's not a question of the subject matter. It's the mechanics. So,
and I bet there are ways of making it much easier and much less formal than you imagine. And that's where writing out the list of expectations that you have, I think it would be really good. So you can start taking those off the table. Oh, I don't need that. Oh, I don't need that. Oh, I don't need that.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Courses. And then
photo on your website.
Yeah, I got that.
How you can make it really clear that you're one of everyone from the beginning. Yeah. Great.
Okay.
All right. Anyone have anything else for Susie? Yeah, and I guess and just in your family, right? That just some affirmations of I'm willing to take up space. I'm willing to be seen.
I gotta write these down.
I'm seen and I'm safe.
Oh, that's the one. Because I do take up space in the house. The kids, you know, that's just who we are in the family. We all are allowed to take space. And I am seen and I am safe. I really like that. Thank you, Lorelei. That's great.
You're welcome. Anyone else have anything, any other bits for Susie? Go ahead, Vanessa.
I just had one thing that just kind of popped in, and it was a little bit because of my own personal experience mixed in there. Because I'm a little hung up on the like that future thing, right? Like, because again, we can put all the things together, but if we're feeling like that future thing is scary, we're still not going to do it, or we're going to do it so small that we become discouraged because now we've, you know, self-fulfilling prophesied our way into failure, right? And I think, you know, sometimes for me, like thinking too far ahead gives me too much of a commitment piece. And then I'm afraid of falling off the pedestal because I may, when you said shove yourself off or jump off the pedestal, all I could think of was like, oh, that was me, of like, I know I probably will, because I like to change my mind like a lot. I mean, I like to just go, I don't want to do that anymore, and then stop doing it. And the thought process of that's going to make me inauthentic, that's going to make, you know, confused people, that's going to, what if I write this book and then it gets published and then I don't want to talk about it ever again? What's going to happen, right? Like, I'm going to put myself in this place that I now have to do things forever. And I really had to stop myself and be like, you don't have to do anything. You can write a book and never talk about it again if that's what you decide you want to do.
Yeah, that Harper Lee thing. Harper Lee wrote To Kill a Mockingbird, and she never wrote another one because she was afraid that she wouldn't meet that standard. And then the one that was published posthumously for her, it was like, yeah, you're right. That one wasn't as good, but that wasn't meant to be published. So, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Vanessa. I appreciate that.
No problem.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Susie. Next in line, we have Lena. I think I'm mispronouncing your name, but we'll sort that out when you get up here.
Hi, no, you're right, Lorelei.
Okay, great. Good to see you again. It's been a while.
Yeah, thank you.
What is your question tonight?
Okay, so my question is not so much about career. It just happened that this was a time I could come that you had a panel. So, and it meshed up with me having a lot of problems with depression and tiredness and kind of some despair. And I figured out a few things about it, but I'd like some help about just going forward. It turns out that the one of the hormones my doctor put me on, it was a type of estrogen, has not been, my body can't deal with it. And so that's causing some of the depression. And also it seems to have possibly made some of my insomnia worse when it was supposed to do the opposite. So that's making me tired. And, but I also have a lot of worry. I've always been kind of a worried person and I struggle with that. But when I'm so tired and so feeling so much despair, it's really hard for me to get myself to do the things that help me. And so I'm looking for just what would be like a plan for the next week or two, you know, just to help me keep going and get through. And I do get some ideas when I ask the question, but I would love to hear from all of you.
Great. I loved you acknowledging that you get ideas when you ask the question. That's great. That's great. As I think for all of us, when we ask for help, right, it's an opening. right? We're willing to be open, and so much, yeah, shows up. That's great. All right, Stephanie is ready. Go ahead, Stephanie.
Hi, Lena.
Hi.
Oh, I feel you. Oh man. I had severe depression in my 20s, and I mean, thankfully, life smacked me in the face and gave me an opportunity to change how I was living, and it changed everything. And one of the things that I realized along that path was that I was not that great at loving myself. That self-love was like one of my biggest hurdles. I didn't understand it. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know what practices to incorporate. And I was like, how on earth can I love myself if I hate myself? How can I love myself if I don't like these things about myself? Like, how does this all work? And what Spirit taught me, it was during a meditation, is none of that matters. How we feel about ourselves is a perception. And when you can see that Spirit loves you, God loves you, there's so much love that's just out there waiting for you, that it's really just a matter of being present to that love. So if it's hard to have self-love, then just being present to God's love, saying, okay, I accept. I'll give, and just sitting with it, maybe just 5 minutes a day.
Okay.
Sitting with God's love, sitting in, like, just basking in that feeling of that glory, of that beauty, that beautiful white light. I recorded a YouTube video about self-love, and it actually started out with a meditation that I did when I was in my 20s. And it was just envisioning this white light in the middle of my body. And I would sit in this meditation, and as I would breathe into the white light, and it would grow. And every breath, it would get a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger until I was completely enveloped in this white light. And it felt like I was just sitting in God's hands. It was a beautiful experience, and it led me to so much intuition and so much healing that it was just like one of the most powerful experiences of my life. And ironically, of all of the YouTube videos that I recorded, the self-love talk is my highest watched video, because it's like the most authentic thing from me. I'm a love warrior. It's all about love. Everything I talk about is love. So there you go. Right.
Thank you. Thanks. I like that I could do it for 5 minutes.
Yes.
That's perfect thing.
Tiny little time investment. Just do it a little bit every day. Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Stephanie. We've got Vanessa and then Claire.
So I actually pulled a card for you, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this, but
it's a mermaid.
It's a mermaid. Yeah, my mermaid cards are they're my connected cards, but it's the light card. So as Stephanie started talking, I was like, well, there it is. We've got some extra light coming in here. And I actually had like the two things that came up. So I kind of just listened to, what I was hearing. And one thing was connecting with nature. I don't know if that's something that you have always done and aren't doing, or something that you need to do more of. And maybe that's where the light connects. Maybe there's a need to be like kind of in physical light more often.
Yes, that makes a big difference to me. So I do make a point of going outside during the day multiple times and just going out either in the yard or somewhere. But I have a little bit of a limitation because I have an elderly dog. And so a lot of my life is built around taking care of her. But I'd still do that as much as I can. But you're right, it's very helpful.
Okay, and that might be a good time to do this practice that Stephanie's talking about, right? Because you're in the light and it might be easier even to get you started. Because I think sometimes when, when we're not really like a meditator, I'm not one. I need like something to get going. Right. So if I'm outside in the sun and the light's already there, it's a little bit easier for me to picture it coming through me, because I can feel it and I can see it. But then also, and it's hard for me to, like, I'm not going to give a lot of information, but what is your medical team? Do you have a naturopathic doctor on your medical team?
I have a chiropractor who's very well educated in nutrition and other things too. And she's the one that helped me figure out the estrogen was not good for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what
yeah.
It's like the first thing that I think of when I hear like my doctor did. I'm like, did you get anybody else like that, is going to tell you something that's not just the medical model? Because all of our bodies are so different, and we need that individual attention that we don't normally get from, a regular doctor. And it's not to smash them, like I do value them, but I do think that like when we feel it and it's starting to affect us that way, that is like our cue to go looking in other directions. But also, what is the root of the depression? Have you gotten there yet?
It's hard for me to say, but I think it's a grief. It's a combination of grief and frustration. And I don't know if there's time for me to say very much here. But I do feel like I have to deal with the physical aspects of it first, because it's so overwhelming that if I can't get a little bit more balanced before I look at it too much, that I'm not going to be able to handle it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely, 100%. And I will say that definitely stabilization helps, but there are small things like what Stephanie was saying that you can do that aren't opening a wound. They're adding healing so that you can get to the part where you get to open that wound and start, doing that. So whether that is, small body movements or some sort of consciousness training, finding a shaman who can lead you in something that is, a little bit more uplifting, doing maybe a sound bath. Sometimes sound baths are healing and you don't really have to do anything except kind of sit in it.
Okay. Yeah, those are good. Yeah, that would be good. Something like that for sure.
Yeah. Because I think when we get into that space of when this happens, I will be able to, it's kind of like putting it out of reach, and we don't want to put it out of reach. We want to bring it as close as we possibly can.
Yeah, I am afraid. I just have tremendous fear about stepping into it. But yeah, you're right.
It's only scary for a little bit, truly. I mean, I do it every day. People sit and like, they'll go, I don't know why I was so afraid, because it feels so much better now. Right? Like it was like a bump, and then on the other side of the bump was all the beauty, and I'm so glad that I went over the bump. So I'm sending some of that to you right now.
Thank you. Yeah, I have plans to see my acupuncturist this weekend, and I'm hoping that once I have one treatment from him, then I'd like to come back and have the conversation again.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well,
Great. Thanks, Vanessa. We've got Claire and then Marya.
The word that keeps coming to my mind is permission.
Yeah, I can relate.
I also have dealt with depression. I had my deepest depression back in 2014, 2013. And what helped me get out of it was giving myself permission to feel. I had a lot of frustration in my depression, and I was resisting it. I was resisting the frustration. I was resisting the grief. I was resisting the anger. I was so angry, but I wasn't allowing myself to feel it. And sometimes you just got to go feel it. One of my favorite activities is actually tearing up cardboard with my raw hands, with my bare hands. because it gets that physical expression of anger out of my body. It's no longer trapped inside of it. And so I would encourage you to give yourself permission to feel. You may not have to dive deep into the grief, but you can choose what I call self-soothing behaviors or self-soothing objects. I have a teddy bear that I've kept since I was 12. And when I'm in the deepest pits of despair and grief, I just carry him literally around the house with me.
Oh.
And he grounds me when I'm going through those massive waves of emotion. Like if you are afraid of being unmoored by the emotions that you're feeling. Yeah, Laureli's holding up hers. You can, maybe it's a cup of tea. Maybe it's a picture of someone that you love. Find a grounding object or person or thing that can help soothe you throughout those emotions, but also give yourself permission to feel. And I like Stephanie's idea of 5 minutes. So maybe you just feel for 5 minutes.
Okay.
Set a timer for 5 minutes and just feel everything for 5 minutes. And then once the timer ends, you can just pack it back in. But each time you let it out, you're releasing that pressure.
Okay. Yeah, I have to think about an object or person or something. Not sure what that would be, but I'll think about that.
Yeah, a sweater, pair of socks. Like when I really need to feel things, I call it a blanket burrito. I actually take a blanket and literally roll myself up in it and lay on the ground, and like I'm swaddled, I'm in my favorite blanket, I have my teddy bear, I have tissues within reach, I have chocolate within reach, I have water within reach. So I can just exist in that well of emotion and have my basic needs taken care of during that time frame.
Okay. I did a little bit something like that today. I just went to bed this afternoon and cried.
Yeah. There is no shame in going to bed at 2 p.m. No shame. Absolutely not. Like, don't judge yourself. If you need to go to bed at 2 p.m., go to bed at 2 p.m. Sometimes I stayed in bed all day long. Sometimes I was crying on my living room floor for 2 hours, and that's okay.
Okay.
Give yourself permission and give yourself grace.
Okay, I wrote it down. Self-permission to feel. And I wrote frustration, grief, and all. And a grounding object, person, or thing. And feel for 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks.
Marya and then Lisa.
The first two things I wrote down were color and light. So again, we've got light. And you don't have to go outside. Like if you need to stay inside to take care of your dog, you can just sit and let the light shine on the back of your head. It doesn't even have to be your face. It can just be the back of your head. And also look for ways to put colors that you like up. So, look at some colors and see, what color attracts you. Like, do you like this red? Do you like a gold color? What is it? And then put some things around that have these colors in your environment. And then, have some little, like this cup. I love it. I love dishes and I love this colorful little cup. It makes me feel good. So if you've got things like that around, pick out things you like as was mentioned and enjoy it, put it out there and just, hey, this cup makes me smile. I can't help it. And then Also, I think it might help you to rearrange just a few things in your place every day. You might not have a lot of energy to do a lot, but just a little bit of rearrangement. You know, put your flowers in a different place, your house plants, or turn your desk, you know, have it facing the door instead of the wall or something like that. Just do some little thing every day. And you could wear color too. That's another good thing to do, something that will brighten you up. And then something that happens to, I think, to pretty much everyone, is that sometimes we leave a part of ourselves somewhere. You know, we leave it with the place we lived, or maybe a job that was stressful, but somehow we leave a part of ourselves there. So what I do is this thing, I just recall parts of my soul back. You know, I think I just let my mind bring those things forward. I don't have to dwell on it or anything. It'll just say, oh, it's that incident where that person yelled at me, you know, and it just, I was so upset, you know. So I call back that part of my soul and welcome it. And then I say that anything I've kept that belongs to someone else, like maybe that person's anger, I send that back to them because it doesn't belong to me. So it clears me and brings back those parts of me so I can be more whole.
Okay, that makes sense. And I did have an interaction this week that was very distressing with someone. So that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Thanks, Marya. Lisa and then Vanessa again.
Hey, Lena.
Hi.
I too have been depressed on occasion, and nothing sucks more than when life feels like it just sucks. It just sucks the energy out of me. And it's like, what's the point? A couple of things, a couple of tools I have learned throughout the years, and then most recently, grounding technique that I learned you can do anywhere, and you can do two types. You can take your fingers and you can create a figure 8 around your eyes, and you can touch your skin, or you can just lightly touch your skin, or not even touch your skin, and do that until you yawn. And just keep doing that until you yawn. And what that's going to do is that's going to calibrate both hemispheres of your body. And if you feel like you've got the energy, you can do it full body too. You can either do it in your chair, or you can stand up and move that and recalibrate your brain. And that's just going to really help ground you immediately. So do that until you yawn. Okay. And you may find that you're going to have to do that a couple times a day. I forget to do it, and I could have used it this weekend. So time to put a post-it up there for me. And I just wanted to basically reinforce everything all the other practitioners have said today. When Claire talked about ripping the cardboard, that brought to mind, I used to be a musician, and so I would come home and play on the piano. And I don't know if you have any musical instruments in your house, but I would come home and I would pound on the piano from high school. I was so angry, and I kept playing until it started to feel good and I started to make music. And that's so productive. And you can do the same thing with drawing. I think someone here also said drawing, just release the tension and the anger from your arms. If you're just scribbling, that's okay. Maybe a coloring book, just release all that tension. I'm a big maker at heart. So just release that tension through making and creating. And suddenly you might find that you've got an item that you've created and said, you know what? All of my heart and soul I put into this, and it's absolutely beautiful. I've got a lot of projects like that have my heart and soul and all the emotion that I was feeling during that. And it's just so lethargic and gratifying. So I don't know if you're a maker, but you know, that might be an option.
Okay. I have a guitar. I could try the guitar.
There you go. Buy some extra strings.
Okay, thank you.
I hope that makes you feel better.
Yeah, well, I'm going to try the figure 8. That sounds really good.
Thanks, Lisa. Vanessa.
Thanks.
Okay, so I think this is a little bit more of the counselor coming in, and I don't want you to, get into anything that is too much for you, but just some things to think about. Who is your support system, like your emotional support system?
Well, it's kind of dwindled.
Yeah.
But I have a good friend, but she's far away and busy. I have another good friend who's here who I do see and talk to fairly regularly. And other than those, well, I have another friend who's sometimes available. I just don't have a lot of the support system, I guess, is what it comes down to.
I was feeling like connectivity as a disconnect, which I know kind of sounds weird when I say it, but that's how I felt. Of the just kind of like gradually disconnecting makes us feel worse. And then it makes it feel harder to reconnect because you don't feel good. It's hard to reconnect when you're like, I'm gonna come in here with a cloud because I have a cloud now and I don't want to bring that energy, but this is my energy right now. So it becomes harder and harder, and we just kind of drift further away and disconnect more and more. So the idea being, what are some other ways that I can connect, or other people I can connect with? You play guitar, other people in the area or even online that do that too. Just trying to find some other ways to have connectivity without it having to be deep, so that it's just joy based, and see if that can help bring some of that light that we're talking about. And then the other question that I had, and this is the one that maybe is a lot, and maybe is something that you'll want to journal about or talk to somebody about, is when was the last time that you felt strong and happy? And what did that look like? How do you rebuild back to that? Because when we don't really have like the goal, in mind of what does this look like, we talked about it before with success. Like if you don't really know what the success is, well, how are you going to get there? We have to build a path to somewhere. So I like to take people into, well, what was the best time of your life? When did you feel super strong and happy and supported and free? And if it was 6, fine, we figure out how to make 6-year-old happen, and build from there. Just kind of bringing more of that positive vision, bringing it into the vision field, because it's real easy to sit in the negative on a regular basis because it's how you feel.
Right. Yeah, I get it. Okay, that sounds good. I'll try to think back. There's not a lot of those times, and that's part of the problem, but I can think of one.
Okay. And you build on one. Then that's as long as there's one. And if there isn't any, I've had that, somebody who's had a very traumatic life where it's really hard to find points of joy. We can still even find, hey, when you were watching a movie and you got connected and you felt like, whoa, that would be amazing. There it is. What was it about that? Let's build on that feeling so that we can create whatever brings that feeling to you in your life.
Okay. All right. That's like what Marya was talking about, the things that bring joy and enjoyment. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I've got a collection of things around me, listening to everybody. I'm like, oh, that idea. So I'd say one thing is like no shame. Nothing is to feel shame about, and making yourself feel better, and particularly getting through a patch that's really hard. So I have all of a sudden I lost the word, but hardened coral, turned into stone coral that feels really good in my hand. And when I've done something that's really stressful, I take that with me and carry that with me and touch it. Or I have, well, here's Lila. This is the first bear I got when I got divorced. And so Lila has lavender in her belly. So an important bear for me, and all my bears sit right there behind me at my desk. And I have a baby blanket that I sleep with at night. I stopped sleeping with my blanket for a few years in college because I was embarrassed, and I was like, F it, I don't sleep as well without it. So I still have something curled under my chin at night. And so anything that you need to like support you is good. Okay. And then if going outside is challenging, bring some nature in. So there's some plants that are starting to flower right now. but bring in some flowers. It can be really simple flowers, just like a few bulbs. And I know that when you're depressed, not everything, you don't see, I personally, like when I've been depressed, I don't see colors the same, like nothing, like tastes aren't the same. So do a whole bunch of different things and see what works, right? So smells like rose water, or there might be something that you have around you that you enjoy, like pull it out so you can see it. You know? Or yeah, so anything. And then I was thinking about sound, and I got this out for a different reason, which I'll share in a moment, but just making a sound, you know, that I don't know how well that comes through, but like just to change the energy for a moment and just to shift, right? Your whole brain, everything, I think I'll just shift momentarily. And the reason why I got that out is I wanted to give a demonstration of something that I could drop on screen. And I got out this, but I think actually maybe my dog toy might work better. So the idea with worry is like we're grasping and holding on to worry. It's an active thing that we have to do, right? To stay worried, we're actively being worried. And so it'd be great to have something around your house, just pick it up and drop it. And like, oh yeah, I can drop my worry. Oh, I can drop it. And just do this a bunch of times. And just for those moments, oh, like there's relief in this, the seconds of dropping it. And so just getting yourself reminded, oh yeah, I can.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I like that one. Yeah, it's something I won't break, right? Okay.
Yeah, drop, right? Well, cause problems with your dog.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what you made me think of, and what all of this has made me think of is, oh God, it just went out of my head. But it was something to the effect of that, that I'm going to have another question in about a week. I'm going to have another question, and so that'll be the next step. I think just today was just so hard, and thank you. Yeah.
You're very welcome. I'm putting in the chat. We have many more panels. On Sunday, we have medical intuition for people and animals. And Thursday, the 28th, we have a fair. And Monday, the 2nd, we have hypnosis, soul integration, and embodiment. We've got lots of panels for whenever you want one.
Okay, great. Thanks. That's good.
Thanks so much, Lena.
All right. I really appreciate it, everybody. It's really great.
All right. Jose is next. Turn on your video and I'll bring you up here. Great. All right.
Hello. So I don't know how to actually phrase this question, but I would say like what I'm interested about, what I do, and where is probably my blockage, or what are my blockages. I have a successful career in corporate, but I've always
sorry, I just want to check for a moment. There's a tapping that's happening, and I think it's on your end. Is there any tapping that you can?
It's my dog.
Okay, it's an animal. Okay, go ahead. All right, the dog is part of the journey.
Yeah,
okay,
she joins in every work meeting too.
It's a lot. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I do like many things in life. My conflict is that I am very passionate. I'm happy with the work I do at corporate, but I've always felt that I am pulled more towards having also something at a side, like I mean, I've been, of course, developing for the past few years on psychic development stuff. I am very intuitive through my whole life. I'm very open to it. I do love plants too. So I've been thinking on many things, and I just kind of find that thing that I would say, okay, so this is the other thing that I'll dedicate my time, because I love and like too many things. And I go toward thinking of spiritual life coach, maybe, but then I go, aha, but what about the plants? How can I do something that that I could like merge those things together? And then the other thing is I am having a trouble finding motivation. I find myself having energy enough to just do my work, and then I dedicate my free time to my dog, cooking, eating, and then going to bed. I suffer from insomnia, migraines, and that it's, I feel that most of my week goes managing those things to keep it in control. I do meditate on a daily basis, but I just don't seem to find the motivation enough to take that first step where I can expose myself maybe to people, and being open to practice with people, or actually finding what's that thing that I'll even market myself as. And I'm not a salesperson, I'm not a marketing person, so that doesn't come naturally.
I have a question about one thing that you shared. Did you say plants? You had lots of plants behind you. Is that what you were?
Yeah, I have too many. That's only probably a third, a fifth of what they are.
All right, we've
I
got,
have a clarification question,
Yeah, go ahead.
Jose. How many hours do you work at your corporate job a week?
Honestly, I do not go over 40. I think I am privileged enough to say that, my managers and my team, they encourage us to have a pretty decent work-life balance. So yeah, I don't go over 40. I try not to.
Great, thank you.
All right, we got lots of answers coming for you. We've got Lisa, Vanessa, and Claire.
Nice.
Hey, Jose, how are you?
I'm good, Lisa. Good to see you.
Good seeing you. All right. Well, I'm glad you're here tonight. And I pulled an element card for you. It's Earth, naturally, because you love plants. So that's really great. And I wanted to ask you if you are familiar with the Japanese concept called Ikigai.
No.
Okay. All right. So Ikigai has been around for thousands of years. And this is something that I learned about many, many years ago when I was a kid. And this is great if you're starting out. This is great if you're reinventing yourself. But Ikigai is a Japanese concept, and Iki means life, and Gai means the realization for what to expect and what one hopes for. And I teach this in my class, and I'm also going to publish a short video on my website. But what that helps you to do is, with the 4 intersecting circles in Ikigai, it then helps you understand what you love to do, what you're good at, what's going to bring you money, and who's going to buy it. And when you identify all the things that you love to do and all the things you're really good at, and then narrowing down what people are going to buy, you can then integrate everything that you love to do with plants, your intuition, and anything else. And I show you how to go from column to column to figure out what's going to make you happy and what's going to make your customers happy. And then it's just trial and error and playing around with it. But that's something that I would probably recommend you start with, just to kind of help figure out where you want to begin. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And I actually didn't know about that.
Yeah, so that's a really good place for you to start.
Thank you. I'm taking notes.
Okay, great. And I'm going to let the rest talk, and I may jump in at the end, but.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lisa. We've got Vanessa next.
Okay, so I also pulled a card for you, and it is the Deep Knowing card. There was a big fail when I put it up there before, but I'll try again. It's got an owl on top of a moon, and it's really that your intuition is going to guide you. But what it feels like is happening is something that I'm very familiar with, is that when I find something, I'm trying to market it, like just because that's what I'm supposed to be doing, right? And what I had to do was separate, like what Lisa is saying, is like, what are my loves? What are the things that I just love doing? And maybe I don't need to market it. Maybe it's not going to be my thing, but I need to make sure I have boxes for them so that I'm not trying to run from one thing to another and try to monetize and monetize and monetize, because then we lose our passion. I can't tell you how many times I tried to monetize a hobby that I should not have, because then I kind of ruined it because it wasn't the thing. I had to follow what I naturally loved to do, the things that people asked me about the most, the things that the questions that I would answer without like hesitation. If there's 7 people in my inbox, who's the one who gets the first answer? Because it's so easy. I'm like so in that zone. And like, as soon as you started talking, I kind of felt like just a calming, like sensitivity about you that just it felt kind, like, and I was like, oh, okay. So your soul is telling you, and that's why you're here, that something's missing. And so I want to ask you, what is it about your corporate job that you love?
Well, the work I do currently, I have been in the supply chain field for a while. However, for the past 2 years, what I do is I help leading a supplier diversity and inclusion program, which is a heavy lift, especially in corporate America. So I do love the aspects that I'm helping people, I am helping communities. I think it's that connection and creating meaningful connections. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like I said, I kind of felt that from you. I was like, you just have like this kindness, and I'm like, you can take care of me. I feel that caretaker for you is there, but
Yeah,
you're attaching your job, right? Like your corporate job to it. That's something that translates in many different areas. And that, I think, is what we need to get at, right? The root of why you love that job and what other places that translates to, so that you can open up. It doesn't mean that you have to follow every rabbit hole that comes up, but it really is just kind of like, oh, well, if I really love this diversity and inclusivity, where else does that show up? Maybe you just dip your toe in other networks and start talking to people. And like I said, you find those things that you are like, wow, I could talk about this for 6 hours on end. No question. This is me, right? Like I had to find my way through, like, I don't want to sit and talk about Freud, and I don't want to sit and talk about theory, and I don't want to sit and talk about research. I don't want to do that. I want to sit and talk about individual people. I want to sit and talk about the soul. I want to talk about how the brain works and how it's different for every person forever. I want to do it forever. Okay, well, that's what I'm supposed to be doing because it's easy. Now it's easy work. I don't have to, work at it. So, I'm just kind of getting that feeling that your intuition is leading you. It is a process, and that is, you're on the journey. You're getting there. You're finding those things.
Yeah, thank you. I took some notes on the questions about what questions I would be passionate to be asked and to answer. I think that's a good one. And then the other thing is that currently I don't have like that pressure of I need to do this now because of money. So I don't have that pressure because I'm not even thinking about, okay, so this something else that I want to do is because I would like to create a whole business out of it, but I would like to definitely be fully in that, because my whole life I've been pulled towards all of those things that you mentioned. People, intuition, and all of those things that people will say, oh, that's weird or that's unique.
Sure. And then you'll come against when you're going to leap and why you're going to leap. And that's a whole other conversation, but you're following that path. And that's the only way through it is going through it. And, I just feel like you came to the right place, and, you're about to get a whole lot more knowledge dropped on you by the other people that are right here. But I'm glad that you're here because I see it. I can see that there's a transformation in your future of this, and the letting go of that very small sphere in which you're working in right now, and how that's going to expand.
Thank you.
Thanks, Vanessa. We've got Claire next.
Well, I want to start out by saying there's no such thing as too many plants.
True.
You are allowed to have as many plants as you want. So let's just put that out there first and foremost. Second off, are you familiar with TikTok at all?
Yes, I am.
I think that might be a good platform for you to try and experiment and just throw things out there. You know, go on nerd rants about plants, go on nerd rants about the intuitive work or the psychic work that you want to broadcast to the world. And that's where you can kind of gauge and test the response to what you're putting out there to see what sticks with people. It's a very experimental, imperfect platform. And I think it would be a nice playing ground for you.
I have been thinking about that. I have had that, and also YouTube, especially my manager actually, he has suggested like, hey, you should start creating your own platform in regards to plants, because my coworkers also believe that, you know, there's more to life than just that work. So I'm happy that I do have that support. However, I think where I've been lacking on is taking that step, like actually doing it, like that and I think it's more motivation, because in my head everything plays out like, oh yeah, okay, I know what to show, I know what to say and everything. I think it's about deciding, okay, I'm going to do it, I'm going to sit down or I'm going to record. I just don't find that motivation. But I've been thinking about it.
I would encourage you to not think about it being a perfect product that you're presenting to the world. Like, what do you just talk to yourself about? That's what TikTok is for. Like, you're in the bathroom, you're in the kitchen, you're in the living room, just talking to yourself, probably about plants, because I talk to myself all the time about other stuff. And you just record it instead of saying it to yourself. Also, I would encourage you to look up hashtags on either Instagram or TikTok or whatever platform you naturally gravitate towards, and just start watching what other people are putting out there. Like, I've actually been following a lot of great nature-based, plant-based TikTok channels. I'll put them in the chat here after I find them. But there's this one guy, he's like a 60-year-old farmer in Michigan, and he just talks about organic farming all the time on TikTok. And he is just so precious. And I just love to like watch him pickle like cucumbers, and it's just wonderful. And there's this other guy who's like a farmer down in Florida, and he just talks about plants all the time. And there's totally an audience out there for this kind of stuff. And it's just kind of talking about what you want to talk about as the ideas form. So I would encourage you to not be like, I need perfect lighting, I need the perfect script, I need the perfect hook. You know, it's a sandbox. You're just playing around. Some of it flops, some of it doesn't.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I feel that it. Yeah, I think it's motivation and confidence. Like finding a way to break through that.
I mean, maybe you can even just do videos of you talking to your plants. You don't even have to be talking to the audience, you know? I do have a theory about this. I do believe that we are moving towards a creator supportive economy. You see all of these TikTokers, you see all of these YouTubers making bank. They're just rolling in the dough. Like, there's this one 19-year-old kid who bought himself a Tesla because he just does TikToks about what he eats throughout the day.
Wow.
Like, he's skipping college and he's rolling in money because he just makes themed videos, like eating all green foods for the day, only eating Wendy's for the day, only eating gummy bears for the day. And he's rolling in it. So if you can create this type of platform, you don't necessarily need to make a business out of it per se. There are all kinds of different revenue generating models out there that aren't relegated to you providing a service to people. So be creative with it, I think is what I'm saying.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, there was a lot there. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll put those TikToks in the chat too after I'm off.
Yeah, that's
Awesome.
great. So many of us are curious. We've got
Yes.
Stephanie, Vanessa again, just be brief, and Marya.
Hi, Jose.
Hi, Stephanie.
So I relate to you with motivation. That is something that I struggle with sometimes. And, you know, I've used a lot of techniques over the past, I don't know, how long have I been in business? Since 2011. The things that really help me are scheduling myself. So I actually like add things to my calendar of tasks that need to get done. Like my yoga practice is in my calendar to get done, do this thing. Taxes, tomorrow I have to work on my taxes because it's like the only window I have to work on my taxes. So like for some reason, if it's in my calendar, I'll do it. If it's not on my calendar, I'll find an excuse to not do it. But it's like having it on the calendar just somehow. I want to hold myself accountable to what I write down and put in my calendar. And it works.
I have tried that. Yes. Yes.
And then the other thing, so I've done YouTube videos, and one of the things that I learned from another YouTuber was it's okay to make it done instead of perfect. It's like, put it out there. Don't worry about how perfect it is, because it doesn't matter, because you're going to get better and better and better as you practice. And like, especially with YouTube, podcasts, any of that, it's about content and it's about consistency. And so, yeah, some of them are going to suck. They're not going to be that great. Other ones are going to be golden, and you won't even know it until your followers tell you that it's golden, you know? So it's like, you just kind of follow your intuition, put things forth in the world that inspire you, and see what happens. Don't worry about judgment. Don't worry about like anything. Just put it out there.
I'll take that. Thank you. I think it's the part of me wanting to see something, you know, like a finished good, like right out of the first one.
Right, Marya.
Hi, Jose. What comes to mind is when you were talking with Claire and Stephanie and Vanessa and Lisa, was the word relief. And I love looking at you right now and your background. I love your red shirt and your smile. And it's just, I know you have a sense of humor in there, but it's subtle and it's enjoyable. And the plants are so pretty. And like they're saying, I mean, I enjoy that just as it is. And people, I believe, are looking for relief. They don't want to hear more and more about the same miserable thing. But this is uplifting, and it brings joy to people, and it brings life to the equation instead of the so many downers that we have available to us to watch. So I just think it'd be great if you do videos of you talking to your plants. I don't care if you talk to me, but if I see you talking to your plants, or if you talk to me, I'll enjoy that too. But I just really think something lighthearted and fun would be just tremendous, would give me a relief and uplift me and make me smile. Like this cup.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you. Oh my God, so much, so many things. And I mean, I cannot go one day without thinking about plants, without having some sort of green stuff around. Honestly, and also that's how I measure my life. Usually, if I see that a plant is not doing okay, I evaluate. Okay, Jose, are you feeling okay? What's going on? And I do find things, actually. I do find things that are not good, doing okay, and then I make the plant flourish, and then I fix whatever I have to fix in my life.
See, that right there would be a great thing to share with people.
Yeah. Vanessa, you had something else you wanted to share. Is that still alive for you?
It is. I just was like, if other people have, you know, some things to say, I want everybody to have their shot. But I just, when we're kind of talking about motivation, it kind of hit me. I was like, oh, I know this. I've been this person. I am this person today. No matter, I mean, even with my business already going and all that kind of stuff, I am this person because I don't want to sit and talk to a camera most of the time. I don't. So what actually helped me get into it so that I would want to share the information, because that's what really is happening. Like you have to want to be like, oh, I want to put this on there right now because this is cool, right? You have to have that connection. I started a podcast with a friend from a million years ago. So then I had an accountability partner. I had to show up, right? Like I had to show up every week and to share information. So maybe that might be helpful, is to, either like maybe become a podcast guest, and just take the pressure off of you having to do something and you having to create, and just kind of be part of somebody else's creation to dip your toe in and like kind of spark that desire to share the information.
Oh, I love that one, because I hate failing to people. I am a person of words. So if there's someone else involved, I'm sure that I'll do it because I have to.
Great. We've got
exactly.
Lisa. We've got Lisa and then me.
Hey, Jose. So I just want to follow up with what everybody else here has said, all great things. And a couple of things I want to mention to you and anybody else who might be listening tonight. And that is, if you release your product when it's perfect, you've released it too late. Release it messy. Always, always release it messy. And tell everybody, you know what? This is a beta product, or this is, version 1.0. It's going to be messy. I need your feedback, that kind of thing. Same thing if your new endeavor is to do TikTok videos, same thing, make it messy. And test different formats of your videos to see what sticks, to see what people resonate with. I'm betting if you just walk up to a plant and start talking to it and talking, hey, asking it questions, that kind of thing. I think we've got Jose, the plant psychic, right here, starting in our own channel. So, maybe something like that, because how much fun would that be? It's like, ooh, what's Jose going to say about, this plant? You may end up getting questions. I've got the same plant, but it's got brown leaves, but it's green on the bottom. What do I do? It could be a lot of, the plant psychic is in today. What questions do you have for me? And have fun with it. And that's, I think, the underlying thread that I think we're all trying to share with you today is make sure you're having fun with it. If it's not giving you joy, if it's not bringing you joy, stop. Okay. Give yourself permission to stop and sit back and recalibrate. And then also, I think Vanessa said accountability buddies. Here's something else, a twist to that as well. Think about your customers as your accountability buddies. If you don't put out a video, are you letting them down? Right? So they can also be your accountability. So food for thought.
I love that. Yeah.
All right. Good luck, Jose.
Thank you.
That's great. That's great. So I was thinking about some practical things just to hopefully have you have more energy for all these things. So what are you doing? Well, let me start. Just in terms of migraines, are you familiar with how often various things in the diet can be pulling minerals out of the system, and how taking the minerals that you need and avoiding certain foods and all those things? Great. So you know about all that. Great.
Yeah.
So part of what matters, not only how many hours you're working, what are you doing in your work currently? Because I'm thinking about your eyes and your purpose, and being a practitioner is totally in alignment with what I see in your eyes. So I'm wondering what you're doing and how much it's draining your energy.
So I'm always here. This is my workspace. This is actually my office room, my home office. So I'm up front of the computer most of the time. Let's say probably 50% in connects meetings like this, and 50% reviewing work.
Reviewing
spreadsheets, business profile, emails, creating a strategy plan.
Yeah.
All the stuff that I don't do for the things that I want to do at the side.
Yeah. So like while you have capacity at those things, they're they're totally not connected to your purpose that I see in your eyes. So that's part of why whenever we do the thing that's not our authentic thing, not sufficiently our authentic thing, it takes tons more energy. So that's part of what I think is happening right now, right? So even though it's only 40 hours a week, it's a lot. And so I agree with everyone that you love plants. Like plants seem like so much a way in. I am, oh goodness. Yeah, just thinking sitting in front of the screen, right, all the time is just not so great for you. So one of the natural talents that I see in your eyes is called priest or priestess. It's about inspiration, vision, passion, motivation. People with priest, priestess see not only what's here, they see what's possible, and they want to inspire and motivate people to stretch and reach for what's possible, so that you want to do things that help uplift people and grow people. And, you know, uplifting plants is uplifting the environment. It sounds like you do have a sense of like the plants help you reflect back as to like what's happening with the person, etc. Like it's you know, a pathway through for you. So a few things. So one is working with people is so much more, it's important that you do that, not all that time on technology. Your energy is the presence that you bring, the joy that you bring, the authenticity that you bring that comes through your eyes is very appealing to people. And I think that people will really enjoy being with you if you give them an opportunity to experience you. Another thing that happens with priest priestess is because they see what's possible, they can get totally fixated on what's possible and get perfectionistic. And so it's the, you know, the problem, it's the gift and the curse all at one time kind of thing. So that you love to do this for people, that is what you want to do, is to be able to help move them. And at the same time, not get yourself caught right in the perfectionism, just like with people. You're probably spacious with people, right? People that you work with, like that, just casual conversation with people, right? How your gift shows up. You don't hold them to this huge standard. You know, you get in trouble if you do, right? They're on a journey and they're going the pace they're going. So remembering to do that with you too. Yeah. So just, I encourage you to be on the computer as little as possible, and the, you know, in general, and then certainly as you're doing your gift, you know, as you're doing the work that you love. And so that you're doing plants, right, is great. Living beings. And also I want to say there are a lot of people now that are selling plants that have been so cared for, like Reiki energy with the plants, and they sell them with crystals, and they're businesses that make like the most beautiful terrariums that have all these things in them. And so there's just other ways of working with plants more directly too, as part of a product that you offer, right? That's a service and a product as well.
Yeah, because I do, I mean, something that I've been doing for the past year, or that I mean, in that journey of exploring like about my abilities, my intuition, and where that actually like it's leading me, because I do feel that there's that pull, and all of what you said, thank you, and I could relate that those are some of the messages, and that's what I feel inside. I am, but also I have been exploring a little bit of like energy healing, chakra reading, chakra scanning, because those are things that I don't know, through my whole life I just know things, and that's the weird part, because I just know them, and I happen to play everything in my brain, and then when it comes to action I'm lacking on that, and that's where I've been stuck. But I think thinking now about the plants, I see now so much connection after everything that each one of you has said. Yeah.
It's great. It's great. I'm glad like the conversation, right, opened things up for you. I want to encourage you, and I think you know this, right? You're in the right community. What you do is not strange. That you know all these things is not strange, right? It's being with other people that do the same thing. And then also, lots of us aren't great salespeople. We don't love sales, right? And so part of the benefit of doing events like this together, right? We're all together, we're doing this together, we're holding the space together, and we're marketing who we are, right? And offering our services, and we're not doing it in a way that's sales, we're service at the same time. There are lots of ways of having your work be available to people in a way that's in integrity for you. And Priest Priestess really cares about integrity. So I'm not surprised you don't like sales.
Thank you. Wow.
Anyone else have anything, any other small things to jump in, so to share before we? All right, great. Thank you so much, Jose. All right, next we have Joy, and then after that we have Mandy.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Nice to see you. Hi, Lisa. Well, actually, this is very much a business question because don't consider business one of my strong suits at all. And I'm just starting out, just like no idea which directions to go. I just got certified with hand mudras. And I've just really recently built a website, but it's actually not for the energy work. So it would be very difficult to transition that website to something for energy work. So I'm really right at square one in terms of business or marketing. And I'm open to all ideas and suggestions about what things to do in terms of sales. I'm not good at sales either at all.
So you say you just got certified in hand mudras, and you're asking about how to offer your work with hand mudras to others?
Yes, exactly.
And one thing that you shared with me that's important that I don't know if everyone else knows, and please correct me because I know I won't get this quite right. It's not that you're teaching them to people so much as you using them to direct energy.
Oh, yes, that's great, Laureli. That's a good point. The hand mudras, they're energy work similar to Reiki. So it's not a matter of teaching the mudras to people, but working on them with the mudras. Although I find when I am doing that, especially online, I will have the person do the mudra that I'm doing so that they have a strengthened effect. And I have practiced it very little online, or actually at all on other people, but I know that they're very strong from working on myself. And the few times that I've worked with other people, they've said they felt things. So it's it's definitely very exciting to me that way, because it's very noticeable, the work and the effects. So it's very exciting.
And just in case anyone in the audience doesn't know what mudras are, did you want to just give any examples?
Oh, yes. Mudras is Sanskrit for gestures. So hand gestures. They work with the body's energy, similar to Reiki. And so, when your body is normally functioning, your brain sends signals to areas of your body, which then respond with electronic signals back to your brain about what to do, like whether healing is needed or, more blood or things like that. So with the hand mudras, you're simulating those responses to the brain. And so you are triggering healing responses.
Okay, great. And there are a couple of things in the chat I just want to mention too. Daniel playfully wrote mudra moments. And then someone else pointed out, which it makes lots of sense to me, the beauty of the background image that you've chosen and how well it fits in with who you are and what you do is a perfect example of how you innately have a sense of business.
Oh, thank you, Laureli. That's really nice.
Great. Go ahead, Claire, and then Stephanie. You're muted.
Button. I would like to make a distinction between marketing and sales here. Marketing does lead to sales. So I would ask you, how strong do you think your skill set is in marketing versus sales?
Better, although I kind of always link the two. So I haven't done a lot in terms of marketing previously either. Oh, and the other thing I forgot to mention is that one of the things I'm considering doing right now is doing a hand mudra book, because there are something like 400 mudras, and the biggest book, the book of the most mudras that I found is like 200. So I was thinking about doing a more comprehensive book, if although I'm not sure about that, because a lot of the mudras that they were mentioning are for dance, and I wouldn't be doing those. I would only be doing the ones for healing. So I don't know if there would be 400 considering that, but but that's something that I was thinking about too.
Okay. Well, the starting place is going to be gathering testimonials. So you're going to have to find guinea pigs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
To test your mudra skills on and receive testimonials in exchange for your free services.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And so you want to gather those testimonials, and you don't need to really rehab your entire website. All you need to do is create one page that's your testimonials page.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And send people only to that testimonials page. When you are trying to turn them into a lead, or if they indicate their interest, send them straight to that testimonials page. And the only thing that you want on that web page are your testimonials and a button to schedule a call with you.
Okay. Great.
Don't have any menus, don't have anything that will lead them elsewhere in your site. You don't want them going off the page. The only option that they have on that web page is to book a call with you.
Huh.
There's no option to navigate anywhere else.
Huh. Okay.
So that they're basically like, you're setting up your authority with all of your testimonials. And then they're like, well, my only option is to book a call with her, obviously, right?
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So that will get them into your lead system. And because the number one marketing method across all of North America is recommendations from people I know.
Huh. Okay.
And so if you get recommendations from people that they know or that they know of, or even just consumer opinions online, that's another top marketing method in all of North America. They're going to trust the word of those testimonials and instantly make you credible.
I'm sorry, say that again.
It will instantly make you credible, give you authority in the space because other people have attested to your skills.
Okay, great, great. Yes, that's a great idea. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's basically relationships, getting those free testimonials and nurturing those relationships too. Seeing if you can get any referrals out of them. Now that you've experienced my skill set, who else would you recommend me to, or who else could you connect me to?
Right. Okay. Okay, great.
All right, Stephanie.
Thank you. Thank you, Claire.
Thanks, Claire.
Joy.
Hi, Stephanie.
Hey, it's good to see you again. So I was writing some notes down as Claire was talking. The first thing that came to me was just start. And it might just be one little inspired action every day that you do toward your business. So it could be like, look for a guide that can help business for healers. And it might be an actual person, or it might be a book. It might be a reference online, a blog, a podcast. You know, I'm not sure where that is. It might be Laureli. But the idea of just taking one step, then it's not a huge, monstrous business thing you have to do. It's just one little thing. So what am I doing tomorrow that I know I need to do for my business that is really important? And so for me, Thursdays are accounting, and it's the big scary accounting day. I don't want to do accounting, but I scheduled it for Thursday, so I have to do it on Thursdays. So it's like the thing that I have to do. It might be yucky, but I have to do it. And you know, so some things in business aren't fun. They're not going to be spectacular, fabulous things, but they do keep us going as business owners. And it's practical stuff like that.
Right.
And then the things that you enjoy doing, like what Claire mentioned about doing marketing, talk online about the things you love about the hand mudras. How has it affected your life? How has it changed the people that you have touched in your life? Share the magic. So it's not really necessarily just about marketing the skill set. You can just talk about the magic? What did you bring today? How did it change the world somehow? Like, how did it change that person's world today? Because there's so much that we do as healers that are, sometimes it could be super profound. And if you don't tell anyone, that it never happened. But if you can share it somewhere, put it on your Facebook page, or just mention it somewhere in conversation, put it in the world somewhere, because that energy builds on itself.
Oh yeah, that's the one thing it amazes me, the power of them. I started off, I was going to do Reiki because I've always been kind of drawn to energy work. I'm always sensing energies in different things, but then I came across the hand mudras, which even seemed like a better fit, and they are amazing. I mean, I can't believe, it's amazing to me how well they work. I mean, you can feel results in a few minutes. I find them very powerful, and so talking about them like that, it would be a great thing. Thank you. It's a good idea.
Thanks, Stephanie. We've got Vanessa and then Lisa. And then Marya.
Okay, sorry, I wouldn't unmute, and I'm like, okay. Hi, Joy.
Hi, Vanessa.
Are you a sponge, like an information sponge?
Oh, sometimes.
Okay, because I kind of feel it. I kind of feel that there's maybe too many things going on in your head, and that's why you're having trouble starting, right?
Oh.
Like Stephanie's saying, like you could start. And my question, I think, to myself, and our question that we always have to ask ourselves is, when we think of the word marketing, where are we getting our ideas of what it's supposed to look like? What are we bouncing that off of that is making me lose confidence in my ability, right? Because the first thing that you came on here and said was like, you're not good at this. Why? Who are you bouncing that off of that makes you like, this is the way that you're supposed to do it, and I'm not doing it this way, so I am unsuccessful?
I suppose my background is in the arts too. So I'm more like a freelancer. So I've never started a business site or a business per se. So I just feel like a novice at it, and I don't know. If I think about it, I'm not sure what exactly that means to me, but I just feel like I haven't done a lot of it.
Yeah, which will cause the confusion and will put us in research mode. And then we will take lots of information, which makes it even more confusing, right? Because now, in addition to not really having known to begin with, now I have all these other things in my head to be like, I'm not good at that either, right? And now we're not doing anything. Right? So like with anybody, and I think everybody here on the panel will kind of feels the same way. We've all had to do it, where we go, what do I want it to look like? Now I need to find somebody to help me do it that way, because it has to be it has to align with me. It can't align with this person over here, even if they do the same modality, they use the same healing modalities, because they're not me. What works with me? You're a freelancer. I mean, there's a freedom piece that has to be there, right? Because that seems to be how you need to operate. So some of the things that are very regimented are maybe going to come, you're going to come up against it, and it's going to feel like sandpaper. You're not going to want to do it. And so you're not going to do it. So you have to find, somebody, you've got a bunch of them right here, that are willing to look at you as a person and say, okay, what do you want this to look like? What do you need this to be for your business? And now let's build the steps to get you there. What are you marketing? How many people do you want? What benefits are being provided, and who benefits from it the most, so that you're narrowing down your target market? When we are healers, we know that this can help everybody, right?
Right.
But we also know that it grows to everybody, like Claire was saying, through like how it builds, right? Like we have to build, but we have to build from a place that's us first. And so I'm kind of like, that's what I'm kind of getting. Like I was getting the sponge and that novice feeling makes us really feel like not empowered.
Yeah.
And we need to build that empowerment. Like, hey, I've got this really cool thing. You're telling me about this. I'm like, I'm interested in it, because the way you said it was with the passion for the product. You know, you believe in this, you think it's amazing. That's how to market it, right? Like that's how we market things, is like, do you want some of this? Let me tell you how much of this you want. You want all of it.
Great.
Right, we've got
Thank you,
Lisa.
Vanessa, that's great.
We got Lisa, then Marya.
Hey, Joy.
Hi, Lisa.
Good to see you here tonight. All right. Now, I know that we have talked about your hand mudras, but I need to ask you, why do hand mudras resonate with you so much?
Well, I've always had kind of a thing about hands, and I find that when I research it, that they are actually, because they're one of the most sensitive parts of our body, and we use them so much, they are actually one of the primary ways of connecting with spirit and that kind of energy.
Okay.
So it just felt like a really natural thing when I came across it, and I've taken to it very, very much in the way I thought.
Fantastic. Okay. That's great. That's a good starting point. Now, the next question is why, and you can share as much or as little as you want here tonight, but you said that you wanted to connect with spirit, and the hand mudras were the way to do that. Is that what I heard? Is that what I heard?
Yes. I mean, actually, there's been, I think you and Laureli and might know, there's been a lot of metaphysical activity in my life recently. And this is just one more thing, that a synchronicity that fell into place, because it's so connecting. And I feel that the way energy healing works, and this is true of Reiki or any energy healing, is very much about the divine, about, you know, that divine energy. So that I think that that's the whole principle of energy healing. So yes, I feel that's very connected.
Okay. So then the third question is, we're going to get to your audience in a minute, but in order to understand who your audience is, because not everybody can be your audience, at least not to start, right? And we'll get into that in a minute. But when you share your love and passion for mudras, who have you shared it with, and what was that conversation like?
Oh, well, for example, Henry India Holden, I've been working with, and they have been just wonderful. And so I've done some mudra work with them online, and they said they felt something very noticeable energy wise. And actually I had just recently, they were having some, they were having some issues, and I gave them a mudra, and they said it really helped. So yes, I have complete comment, and that would be one of the first people I would ask for a testimonial, because just amazing. They really are amazing, the mudras.
Sure. Okay. Let's move to a couple of other people that you've talked to. So you've talked to Henry. Have you talked to anybody else? Because what I'm trying to do here is trying to understand, trying to create a trend report for you. So that way, because I know, what did you say? There's like 1,001 different hand mudras?
Yes, something that some people say thousands. There are thousands.
Okay. So you can only teach a couple at a time in order for them to be effective. And so what does it look like, you know, the people that you speak to, and the reasons they want to seek you out and the hand mudras, and what benefit do they get? And then does that benefit cross-pollinate? Is that a common thread through all the people that you're talking with? Because that's going to help define your audience.
Huh.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. So maybe you need to get out and talk to more people about introducing, hey, I want to show you this new thing that I've learned and it's fantastic. And so you tell them a little bit about who you are, what you're doing, and how, they might want to try it out. And then start writing down what benefit they're receiving from it. Is it back pain? Is it stress? Is it imposter syndrome? Because let's say, for instance, you're dealing with business owners and imposter syndrome. Suddenly you've got a whole posse of people who are dealing with imposter syndrome. And you're like, you know what? Maybe I'll create a little booklet that has 3 top hand mudras to help overcome imposter syndrome.
I'm sorry, imposter syndrome?
Mhm.
What is that?
Oh, bless your heart. I'm glad you don't know what that is. I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at you. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no.
Imposter syndrome is when a person doesn't feel they're good enough.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That's imposter syndrome.
Okay.
So I'm so glad you don't know what that is. So erase that from your mind.
Okay.
Imposter syndrome doesn't belong here. So if you can identify, like, imposter syndrome, or maybe it's stress for busy moms or something like that, right? 3 top hand mudras. Okay, Laureli, 3 top hand mudras to help busy moms overcome stress during their day, something like that. So that way, then you can start attracting the audience that you need.
Okay. Okay. And so how would I apply those 3 mudras to the audience? Like
that would come down the line, and I've kind of run out of time here to help you.
Right. Okay.
Joy, I think of it was offer your work to people, find out how they benefit, make some small products like little booklets that you can sell to other people.
Okay.
And that's part of how they get to know you and come back for more.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you, Laureli.
Thank you, Laureli.
You're welcome. All right, Marya.
There are just a couple of things, and basically what I wanted to know is what are the benefits, what types of things shift, and I think Vanessa and Lisa talked about that too. That's what I'd want to know as a potential person that would come to you. And then when you talk about the hands, they have all these nerve endings, and in the brain, you've seen that drawing of the homunculus, that the hand takes up like a huge amount of the brain.
Oh, really? I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's called a homunculus, I think. I've seen it in, textbooks and things. So kind of look that up. How much of the brain does the hand area take up or something? Hopefully you'll get that, but I would love to see that as a visual in your information, whether it's online or whatever, because it's really striking.
Oh, great. That's very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's all I have to say. Oh, and another thing, what makes you special, because there are hand mudras, you can get cards or books or whatever that you mentioned, but you would say you are knowledgeable in the use and have access to at least 400 hand mudras. So you have access to all these mudras that aren't just readily available, and you know how to use them for specific things. So that's all I have to say. Thanks.
Okay, great. Thank you, Marya. That's great.
Claire got the big term in the chat. Thank you, Claire. So, Joy, I know it's fairly new that you've been working with these. Have you defined offerings? Have you defined what a session is and what you're charging for a session?
Yes, when we have those practice sessions, I have the session special. So no one's actually wanted to do that, but I have had I think one of the other panels, which was practicing our gifts, I was working with someone, a couple of people that also felt it online. So it's really reassuring to me that they can feel it online. That was a concern of mine too. Yes, I have a basic idea of what I would charge. It would just be, the same as a physical session without the contact, which means I'm doing them. I also teach them the mudras so they can do it while we're doing it together. And I think that helps the effect.
And so let's see. So you've used them on the training panels, and you've gotten feedback online that it works. And you've done them with people in person, and you're someone that probably enjoys working with people in person a bit more than online.
Oh yeah, I actually haven't done it with anyone in person.
You haven't. Okay, well, so find people in your life and do sessions with people.
Right.
And my sense is that you probably, online is great because you can reach so many people, right? We have so many events online as part of how we connect. But if you're someone that really wants to be with some people in person too, like find out locally where people gather, where your community is. I know you're in a big enough city, you can find where people are. And just do it by donation at first. Like we talked about it with, I think it was another person too, just in getting feedback and testimonials. And I can't remember which question it was now, but it's just for you to get experience and to know that you're being of service and that you're making a positive impact for people. I think that would be really great. And having your session information available somewhere other than the training panel, it's great that you're offering it online publicly on the training panel, but having it somewhere too, where just you having it out in the world is a really good thing. Even if it's a super simple website. Someone mentioned your website earlier. I don't know if it's up, if you have one up, but having that in there.
I have one up, but it's not related to this. So I forget who just said that to have a page that just only goes to that testimonials and a link to book a session. So I might have to do a different website for that, because if you have the menu on a website, it will always be on every page. So they could always go to.
No, you can set it up where the menu doesn't show on some pages. There are ways. We can work with that with you offline. Chances are there's some ways of changing it that might be a little more technical. So doing sessions with people online and in person, so getting more experience, sounds like collecting some testimonials, you knowing that you made that impact on people would be really good. And then your idea of making a book. So I think we looked at your talents before, and I think we concluded that you're probably artisan, priest, priestess, and scholar being the least important of the three. So part of what occurs to me is researching all 400 and writing about them probably won't stimulate your artisan and your priest, priestess as much. It's using too much scholar. So I would encourage you to do something that's more visual, that might be sufficiently pleasurable, interesting to you. Like it might be making videos or making photographs of the different mudras.
Oh yeah, that's a big aspect.
And don't worry about doing the whole book. Like just make little snippets of the videos. Like come up with a format. You'll improve the format as you go along. So you might go back and remake some of them when you get consistency of something that you like. But yeah, just make them as you go, and that way you don't have to do the whole thing at once, and it doesn't have to all be perfect. And
oh, great. Thank you, Laureli. I really appreciate that. I know you've done this huge project of putting all this together, and I really appreciate your input. That's very helpful. Thank you.
Great. All right. Well, thank you everyone that supported us with questions tonight, and practitioners for all of our great answers. Let's go around again and share who we are and what we offer and how people can reach us. Marya, go ahead and go first, and then Stephanie.
Hi, I'm Marya OMalley, and I'm a mentor in the intuitive arts. I also do readings, and I'm a psychic medium. I can be found at maryaomalley.com, and I have some specials for MeWe participants and listeners in the chat. You can see those there. I have a mentoring special. It's regularly $333 for 4 sessions, and there's a 20% MeWe discount. So you just would click on that link to find out more. And then I have like 3-month and 6-month programs, as well as even 1 session program for people who just might want to explore a little bit, or maybe they're doing this professionally and would like a boost. someone to give them feedback and that kind of thing. So thank you for coming tonight. I've really enjoyed these questions and enjoyed working with this wonderful panel. And thank you, Laureli.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, it's been great. I want to spell your website just so people can find it. MaryOMalley.com.
Thank you.
Great. Stephanie and then Vanessa.
Let's see. So my name is Stephanie Buckland. My website is stephaniebuckland.com. And I am totally in creation mode right now, creating events. So you can find all kinds of events on Facebook and Instagram. And you can find me at One Love Warrior, the number 1, LOVEWARRIOR. That's Facebook, Instagram, almost everywhere. I'm One Love Warrior, even on Discord. I'm One Love Warrior. I am a self-healing specialist. I am a social entrepreneur. I want to save the world. There's so much that I want to do in this world. And I am definitely a light worker, and I find them and I light them up because that is what I love to do. So I find those connections and I bring things together for them. So I have this beautiful event that I'm creating called the Integrative Wellness Expo and Conference. And I'm excited to be partnering with Laureli on this event. It's happening in June 15 through 18, and it's virtual. So you can participate from anywhere in the world. There is a promotion. If you follow my Instagram, there's a promotion to get a free ticket to that virtual summit. You have to follow me to get it. And yeah, love is my language. I love talking about love, spreading love, and just healing the world with love. So if you need more love in the world, if you need more love in your world, if you want more love in your life, I can definitely help you with that. There's a group that I created called Women Cultivating Self-Love. And the whole point of this Facebook group is to talk about love. This is what lights me up. And this is what, like, I just want to talk about love all day. So, yes, love, love, love. So, what else? My email is in the chat. If you would like to reach me, I have a scheduling system on my website. So if you go to stephaniebuckland.com, which I will spell out, thank you, Laureli, is STEPHANIEBUCKLIN.com. On that website, click on resources. There's a page dedicated to all of the resources I've shared over the years, and also the connect to me, schedule an appointment with me, sign up for my newsletter, which is all about love, of course. And I can't think of anything else, but thank you all so much. This panel has been so fun. I've enjoyed this evening so much. Thanks, Laureli. You are awesome.
Thanks, Stephanie. We've got Vanessa, Lisa, and Claire.
Okay, I am Vanessa Perry, intuitive counselor. My website, which I did not mention at the beginning, I'm like, oh, just figure out how to contact me, I guess, is vanessaperry.net. My email is vanessaperrycounselor@gmail.com. I'm also on Instagram at c.stars.psych. And I just kind of live on counseling people and using the divine connection that I have and the intuition that brings to shed light on some of their blind spots and kind of work through that so that we can, you know, move past all of those kind of things. I feel like the greatest thing in life for me is watching people uncover, like unearth these things that have been dragging them down and just kind of blow them up and watch them like fade into the darkness and see them walk toward their own light. It's like the most beautiful thing. I love my work. I love how it has evolved from that stodgy mental health therapist box into this beautiful thing that it is now. And I'm just really grateful to be here tonight. I feel like I didn't know what to expect, but I came in with with no expectation for that reason. And it's really been great. Like, I just felt so comfortable, and I'm like listening to each one of you and all of your offerings. It's just like amazing to see how much there is in the world that we can access. And thank you, Laureli, for putting us all together to at least show that the diversity even here, so that people can kind of get that in their mind. I think that's one of the things that I wanted to bring in my practice, was that whole therapist thing. It's not a one size fits all, and that there are so many different ways that you can heal. And I feel like that's one of the major things that are here. I was supposed to have a landing page done today for for an offering. I did not finish it. That's why nobody's heard about it. But on my website, it should be there at least by the time this recording is put up. So anybody who's watching on a replay, that landing page will be there. I have a self-directed course series called Run, Jump, Thrive. And the first one that I wanted to offer today was Business Alchemy. And it's basically just a holistic approach to career and work, having your mind, your body, your soul aligned, so that you feel like you can step into what you're doing as a whole person and really be connected to it. So the landing page is not up right now, but it will be by the time this replay is there. But thank you again, Laureli, for being here. And thank you everybody for adding the energy. I mean, I've just felt it since I came on here, of all of you just like really coming here for service. It's like I forgot that we didn't just come here to just give everybody everything, and it's beautiful.
And I'm going to spell, just people don't know how to spell your name. It's VANESSAPERRY, and .net is your website. Great. Lisa.
Thank you, Laureli. Thank you, everyone, for being here this evening. It was a thrill and a joy for me to be able to participate with these fabulous practitioners and help anyone out who was seeking the help, and hopefully some folks who were here who didn't ask a question got some side door coaching as well. I hope that inspires you to move on. So I'm Lisa Stewart of Sigil Magic Goddess. I'm an intuitive business coach, and I help mystics like you find the courage to co-create with spirit to help build your business vision, your confidence, and your income. There's a couple of ways that we can work together, because part of being a business coach is helping you with your brand messaging, your design, your marketing, your websites. And of course, there are a variety of ways, getting late, there are a variety of ways to work together. I'm currently running 2 workshops to help you build your business. The first one is how to start a business when you don't know where to start. The second one is brand your magic message. This will help you how to talk about how you're going to change lives with your gifts. And then also I have Mystic Mentor by the minute for any burning questions that you have. So no packages are required. Just, talk to me about as much or as little as you need. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm Lisa Stewart, again with sigilmagicgoddess.com. Thanks, Laureli.
Thanks, Lisa. Claire.
Hello again. My name is Claire Jones. I am the owner of Liminal Clarity, and I am the change guide for growth. And I provide stability and support to women visionaries, entrepreneurs, high achievers, those impact makers out there who have big goals, big dreams, but are in the midst of change, stress, or transformation at the moment. We use a multidisciplinary approach with empowering rituals, trauma-informed therapy practices, neuroscience, and elevated wellness practices that are all backed by research-backed frameworks. So whether you're going through a divorce, changing careers, moving homes, expanding a business, celebrating a milestone birthday, or any of the many transitions that we experience every single day, I would be honored to be your experienced Sherpa. I jokingly call myself the transition queen. I've seen a lot of a lot. And so my offerings involve a elevated wellness program. There is a schedule refresh intensive that is 2.5 hours where we sit down with your schedule, make it work better for you. There is a 9-week program that is phase 2 for that, where I provide accountability over 9 weeks for integrating that new updated schedule and troubleshooting, because things always change, right? And then I also do bespoke rituals if you want to create your own ritual. I do tarot readings, and I also participate in program enrichment. And so rituals are a great way to enhance your existing programming if you are a practitioner, if you're running retreats, if you're a coach. And so maybe you want an opening ceremony, a closing ceremony, or just a ritual to solidify the transformation that you're providing for your clients. And I will enhance your existing programming to make you look better to your clients. So you can reach me at liminalclarity.com. All of my links are available at linktree/liminalclarity, and you can find me on all of the major platforms at Liminal Clarity as well. And that's LIMINALCLARITY. Thank you.
Thanks, Claire. And I'm Laureli Shimayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader, body psychology coach, matchmaker. I read your eyes and read your soul and answer questions about your soul and your path. I have a video in the chat on how I apply my eye readings to discovering your purpose, choosing a career path that's a great fit for you, tuning your career path, and rewriting your resume to shine your light. I have sessions available right now at 28% off. So it's $125 an hour or $70 an hour for BIPOC folks as a step of making reparations. I look forward to working with you. You can find me at LaureliShimayo.com. That's LAURELISHIMAYO.com. And we've got lots coming up with MeWe Fairs. I mentioned a little bit earlier, we have a learning circle coming up this Saturday from 3 to 5 p.m. Pacific time. There are 3 of us that are offering exercises for expanding your intuition. We're focusing on energy this time, some things with energy clearing, energy. I can't speak either, it's late, but all kinds of things around energy, primarily this Saturday. On Sunday, we have a panel on medical intuition for people and animals. 4 p.m. Pacific time. And then the 28th, we have a fair. We have about 16 or so practitioners that will all be offering our work. We have probably 30 free, we're now charging $5 admission, sliding scale. We have about 30 talks, educational talks. You can do an intuitive panel where a brief version of this, where we answer questions from the audience for the entrance fee. And you can do sessions with practitioners again at specials. Lots available. And we have in-person fairs coming up in Eugene in a week and a half, Saturday, Sunday, April 23, 24 in Eugene. And we're back again here in Bellevue, Saturday, Sunday, April 30, May 1 at a new location. We're at a new location in Bellevue. So if you'd like to come visit us, we hope you do. Make sure you see the new location. And we're going to be in Anacortes, north of Seattle, in the middle of May. Thanks so much, everyone, for being here. All of our events are at mewefairs.com, MEWEFAIRS.com. And if you scroll up the chat just a teeny little bit, you'll see information on all the practitioners. There's also a feedback forum. If you give us feedback on the event, give us your email. We will put you in a drawing for a free 30-minute session with one of us of your choice. We hope you all win. Thanks so much for being here, for helping us create this great event. We will do some video editing and we will get this up online very soon.
Great. Thank you so much, everyone.